Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
WMAL.
7:06, it's O'Connor and Company on a very busy Thursday morning, but they're all busy these days, aren't they? Coming up in 30 minutes, Tommy O'Connor of O'Connor Plumbing. Talk about the labor shortage right now in the trades, especially faced with the ongoing message that we keep hearing. These are jobs that Americans just won't do. Well, they're jobs that Americans haven't been encouraged to do. In fact, they've been talked out of doing these jobs. We'll talk to Tommy O'Connor. Also at 8:05, Kate T. McFarland on tariffs. And then at 8:35, the former governor of Maryland, Bob Ehrlich, who thinks there's actually a way to sort of turn the ship around in Maryland. Got to start winning some elections. He's got a plan. We'll talk about it. I'm Larry O'Connor. That is Mercedes Schlapp. Good morning, Mercedes.
Good morning. How's it going, Larry? It's cold
you're
outside
your own
again.
little version. You're a condensed sort of version of the Miami sound machine that we like to keep
I try
around.
I try to be joyful
for the flavor.
Salsa-like.
Joining us right now is Mark Krikorian, who I'm sure is doing his own little Tito Puente jibe right now as he sits on hold. He, of course, with the Center for Immigration Studies. Mark, good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here. It's a little early for me to be dancing around, but glad to be here.
Well, see, it's in our blood. Hey, Mark, you have a great study out right now focusing on these sanctuary jurisdictions. And first, just for the uninitiated, because it's thrown around a lot and we like to sort of re-educate, what technically is a sanctuary city or county or state? How do you designate these jurisdictions?
A sanctuary jurisdiction is one that doesn't cooperate with ICE when they have people in custody that they have arrested for local and state crimes. Some people misunderstand this and think that, ICE wants local police to go around and checking people's green cards. It's nothing like that. If local jurisdiction arrests somebody for beating his girlfriend, selling drugs, driving drunk, whatever it is, their fingerprints are scanned. They go to the FBI, but they also go to DHS. And so ICE knows about these people. And if they have the capacity to pick somebody up that they know is an illegal immigrant, they send what is called a detainer notice to the cops or to the jail. And sanctuary jurisdictions just ignore it and let the criminals.
Or sometimes they give them or sometimes they'll give them 60 minutes notice and say, hey, we're about to release this guy and it's impossible to get it. And just
right.
For clarity's sake, Montgomery County, Maryland, Fairfax County, Virginia, their elected officials, knowing how toxic this policy is, they claim that they are not sanctuary jurisdictions. But you have just described to a T exactly what their policy is, Mark Krikorian. So, again, I want to get into this study of yours on our next question. But they're lying, aren't they? When Fairfax County, Virginia says, oh, no, we're not a sanctuary county, that's just a lie based on what you've just described.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're defining sanctuary jurisdiction in such a way that they can tell themselves they're not lying, but they're lying. Yeah absolutely.
Yes. All right.
You also mentioned, Mark, you're talking about the fact that we talked about the Fairfax County Adult Detention Center releasing 1,000 criminal aliens, a total of 72 criminal aliens with homicide convictions or charges being released during that period. I mean, this is not,
by the way, real fast.
This is insane.
This study is over 2.5 years. It's from October 22 to February 25. I forgot to define that.
But Larry, 72 criminal aliens with homicide convictions, and they're being released. I mean, who's driving? I got to ask you, Mark, who's driving this? Who's saying, yeah, let's just let them just be released, although, they are criminals. I mean, to me, those people should just be literally impeached, removed from office, removed from their job. It's outrageous.
It's a good question, but I think it's a matter of the anti-enforcement groups, the anti-border groups are really, really invested in this. And ordinary people in the public just don't, people have jobs, so they don't pay attention to this as much. And so you end up with, like you said, the Fairfax County jail is, in that period that we studied, the number 3 largest number of criminals that they let go that ICE wanted. And, it's after Cook County Jail, which is Chicago, and number 1 is Santa Clara County, which is in the Bay Area in California. So, Fairfax County is right up there in one of the top sanctuary jurisdictions in the country.
What can be done at the federal level about this? I know it's been tried, it's been tested. Border Czar Homan, as well as Homeland Security Secretary Noem, they've been beating the drum here, saying, listen, we're apprehending, we're deporting, but in these jurisdictions, it's way more dangerous, and we have to go door to door because they're not holding them in their jails and handing them over in a secure way.
Yeah, the obvious thing, first thing that everybody thinks of, and the government has tried, is you say, okay, well, no federal money if you're not going to cooperate, and you're essentially kind of nullifying federal law. The problem is, according to the 10th Amendment, the federal government can't say, for instance, you're a sanctuary city, so no highway funds for you. In other words, when they cut off money, it's got to be related to policy. So what they've done is threatened to cut off certain Justice Department law enforcement funds. But the amount just isn't big enough to move these jurisdictions, given how intensely they want to pursue these sanctuary policies. So I'm not actually sure Congress might be able to act, but, Congress can't do anything. They're lucky to name post offices. So it's going to be difficult to deal with this. This is a hard problem.
Yeah. You've seen the CBP, the Custom Border Patrol home app, which is giving the illegal aliens the option to leave now and self-deport. And Secretary Kristi Noem, she also did these ads basically saying, look, we're going to crack down and it's time for you to go home. Are we seeing any results coming out of this in terms of the app, in terms of what Secretary Noem has been doing at the Department of Homeland Security? Are they self-deporting?
We don't have any data on this yet, but even the New York Times did a story where they talked to various activists and immigration lawyers, and they said, yeah, some people are leaving. We don't know what the volume is yet, but absolutely some are. And the thing is, some people leave. Illegal immigrants leave all the time just because, things change in people's lives. So even under Biden, there were illegal immigrants leaving. It's just that they were letting in way more. So the issue is, how do you get more of them to decide to go home? And in addition to the things you're referring to, they're, for instance, restarting a provision in the law that's allowed to fine people who have been ordered deported but just ignored the order. And there's 1.4 million people who've been ordered deported that just ignored it and stayed. Fine them up to $1,000 a day, and they can seize their homes or cars if they can't pay the fine. So that's a real threat that's hopefully going to get people to, make their plans, pack up stuff, take the kids in the car, and go home.
Mark Krikorian is our guest. Real fast, Mark, because for years now you've been saying that for the most part new legislation is not needed. You were fact-checking Biden and Kamala and Mayorkas and the Democrats about that all through that presidency, and the president has sort of taken that baton and saying, yeah, we just needed a new president to enforce existing laws. But is there anything that you would like to see legislated? Is there anything that could actually be permanently fixed right now that doesn't rely on just the whim of a new guy sitting at 1600 Pennsylvania?
Oh, sure. There's plenty of legislative changes we need. My point and everybody's point was, that President Biden didn't need new laws to stop the bleeding at the border, and obviously we've seen that because it's now at zero. But the one most important thing we do need Congress for is to pass universal E-Verify. That's the online system. It's free. It works. So when you hire somebody, you check whether they actually are telling the truth about who they are and whether they're allowed to work. It's voluntary. About half of new hires are screened through it. The other half aren't. And so that needs to be mandatory for everybody. It's not going to solve everything, but it's the single most important thing Congress can do.
Excellent. Let's get E-Verified done. All right. Mark, always good to talk to you. We could talk for all 4 hours with you, literally. There's so much going on in the realm of immigration and border security. Thank you for giving us your time this morning.
Thank you.